with us is ESPN's Jeremy Schaap, whose E60 documentary, Sepp Blatter and FIFA, is an amazing piece of journalism if you haven't seen it already. Jeremy, give us a little background into Blatter's rise to power.
Well, it's extraordinary. He's someone who's always been ambitious and hardworking. He grew up in a very small town, almost a medieval village, a few hours from Zurich, very close, in fact, to the Italian border, a town called Visp. His father worked in a local chemical plant. His mother was a homemaker. The family has been there for hundreds of years. But he saw his future outside of the tiny valley in which Visp is situated, and he got himself jobs in sports marketing. He became the head of the Swiss Ice Hockey Federation about 50 years ago. He worked for Longines, the Swiss watch company, in charge of its sports timing division. And he eventually lands at FIFA. He had connections to Adidas as well, but he lands at FIFA in 1975 when there were 12 employees in the entire organization. Wow. It's a year after João Havelange of Brazil had become president, succeeding Sir Stanley Rouse. And he and Havelange, side by side, hand in hand, over the next quarter century, built FIFA into the juggernaut that we now know today.
Now, look, we've got some pictures of Michel Platini coming up for you, Jerry. His face basically sums up the entire world's reaction to the re-election of Blatter. The obvious question is, how has Sepp Blatter kept hold of the presidency in the middle of this entire corruption storm?
Well, you guys know better than I do that, once you get yourself elected the president of FIFA, it's very easy to remain in office because of the way the system is structured. There are 209 member states. That's something most of the world didn't know a week ago at this time, but it now seems everybody knows. Right. There are 209 member states. They all have an equal say. And so the president can court many of those smaller associations, smaller nations. A lot of them aren't even nations. They might be British overseas territories or have some kind of status between a nation and a territory. And if you keep a majority of those 209 happy, it doesn't matter what England, which considers itself the guardian of the game, the caretaker of the game, the creator of the game. Doesn't matter what the English think, because if it did, Sepp Blatter would have been out of office a long time ago. It doesn't matter what America thinks, or Germany, or France, or Brazil, or Argentina. If you've got the Andorras and the San Marinos and the Montserrats and the Mauritanias lined up behind you. And when you're in that position, and let's give the devil his due, if you want to put it that way, Sepp Blatter has made the game less Eurocentric. He has dispersed development funds around the world to places that had previously been ignored. And you could say this was a cynical political strategy, or you could say that it was also partially motivated by a genuine desire to see the growth of the game